Hi, Gary here. Welcome to another one of my Does She Find Me Handsome or Does She Find Me Handy videos. Today I'm going to be doing a basic maintenance on my gas-fired lawnmower, so please follow along. Today I'm going to be doing some maintenance on my lawnmower. It is a Craftsman branded lawnmower, but the manufacturer is Honda, and I plan to do an oil change and also sharpen my blade and do a general inspection. So here we go. The first thing you need to do when you're doing an oil change is you have to flip it over. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have no gasoline in your gas tank. That will avoid spillage. So I'll pop that off. Have a look inside. It's empty. That's good. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my little used oil jar and go to the other side of the lawnmower. So from here I'm going to remove the oil fill station here, this little valve, this little cover. I'll take it off. It's also where your dipstick is. And then I'm going to tip the lawnmower over, and the oil will pour out from there into my used oil container. Okay, and you tip it over gently, carefully, trying not to spill any oil. And you can always put a cardboard box down so you don't drip any oil onto your lawn or your driveway. And it's pretty empty right now, so I'm going to tip it back up, and then I'm going to replace the oil fill stick cap. So with the oil drain from the engine and also from the gas tank, it would be the opportune time to flip the lawnmower on its side. Then I can inspect the lawnmower blade to see if it needs any attention. So I'll try and do that while I'm holding the camera. Flip it over. You walk around and have a look at the undercarriage here. And we'll need to clean up also. Let's have a look at the blade. Just feeling the blade surface, and it is dull. So I'm going to remove this nut here, and then I'll loosen that off, and I'll be able to pull the blade right off and sharpen the blade with a file. So I'm going to be using a 9/16 wrench to pop the lawnmower blade off. I've already started it because I couldn't do enough torque while holding the camera using two hands. So now that I've got it loosened, I'll just finish off the process here. And the blade should pop right off. And having a look at it, you can see it's well used. It's a little dull, and I'll give it a quick sharpen and then reinstall it, and it should be fine. So with my blade secured in the vise in my garage, I'm just going to take a nice flat file and do some nice even cutting strokes here. And go all the way along the edge of the blade, and keep this up until I get a nice sharper surface. I can feel an improvement already, and then I'm going to repeat the process on the other side of the blade when done. Okay, let's check the sharpness. I've already done the other side. This is the second side. I can really feel the bite now. It's got a nice edge on it. You can see this blade is a little worse for wear, but there's no reason why I can't get another season out of it. So I'm going to reinstall the blade on the lawnmower. However, before I start in reinstalling the blade, I'm just going to take a brush and a little flat piece of metal here, and I'm going to just scrape off some of all the old clippings that have been dried up under the lawnmower and get her cleaned up so it's ready for another summer of operation. So I'll just start by scraping up a little bit. You get the idea on that, so I won't bore you with the details. I ended up with a fair-sized pile of gunk and old grass clippings, which I'll get rid of, and then it's time for the blade install. One other detail you're going to want to pay attention to is you make sure you install your lawnmower blade on the right way with the right side up. So as you can see, I can see the washer mark here from the bolt that was tightened. That's going to tell me that this is the way it goes. It obviously doesn't go this way, where you can see the that square there in the middle of the blade, which matches the square in the lawnmower. So I know which way to install the blade, and here we go. The only other thing you'll have to make note of is these two pieces of metal that are sticking out will line up with the center, with the blade, so that you know that you have the blade centered and ready to go. So centered, I'll hand tighten it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that 11/16 wrench, and I'm going to use two hands just to torque up everything once I get it snug, and then we'll know that we have and then I'm going to use two hands. I'm going to squeeze the blade and my wrench together, so I know I can apply enough torque to make sure that blade is very secure. With the blade being installed, it is now time to flip the lawnmower back over, and then I can add oil back to the engine. So I'm going to remove the oil dipstick, place it on top here for now. I'm going to slowly pour oil into this funnel, just a little bit at a time, and I'm going to continually stop and double check the oil level on the dipstick, because the last thing I want to do is overfill it. So I'm going to fill it right to here on the dipstick, and then we should be done. I can't show you the process because I can't hold my camera and hold the funnel and pour the oil at the same time, but my first fill stopped at about there, so I'm going to have to add a little more oil to get it up to the fill line. Okay, so I've filled it up right to the top there, right into the edge of the top oil level line, so I will replace the cap and proceed to the next step. And another good thing to check is the air filter. You can just pop that off there. Oh, there it goes. This is a little dirty, so you can pick those up at your local hardware store. You can blow them out with some compressor to give them a little bit more life, but they should be changed at least once a season. But for now, I'm just going to reinstall it, and I will pick one up at a later date. So I've moved my lawnmower into this shade because, yes, in Canada, even in May, that sun gets hot. So the next thing you want to do is have a look at your spark plug, which in this lawnmower is located right under here. So I'll pull the spark plug cap off, set it aside, and remove the plug. Have a look at it. Overall, it's a good cleaning, we should be able to reinstall it. I don't need a new plug, I don't think, so I'll give it a cleaning and reinstall. So to clean the spark plug, I'm just going to spray some electric contact cleaner, which I've had in the house, on the plug, wipe it down. And after that, I'm going to install a little dielectric grease on the threads of the spark plug, just so it helps the electric contact and it won't corrode the spark plug into the engine block. So a quick little spray. See that gets rid of some of the gunk there. Once again, doing this one hand, easier said than done. I'll flip it over and get the other side. And a little wipe there. Oh, look at that. That spark plug is almost as good as new. And then just a little bit of grease on the thread once again. This is dielectric grease, and it's made for spark plugs and other electrical connections. So I am just reinstalling the spark plug now, and just twisting it with my fingers till it snugs up. Obviously, you're making sure that you're not cross-threading anything. It should just thread in nice and easily by hand. And then I'm going to use my socket and just tighten it till it's snug. Not a lot of torque required. There we go. And reinstall the spark plug connector. Actually, what I'm going to do, I won't show it on the video, but I am going to spray some contact cleaner and a little bit of dielectric grease on there too. I just have a couple of thoughts on fueling the lawnmower or whatever piece of four-stroke gas equipment you have. I personally only fill with premium fuel, and I always use some type of fuel stabilizer. It helps because some of the fuels will have an ethanol in it, and that tends to gum up the carburetor. I'm not a small engine mechanic, but you can speak to them, and I'm sure that's one of the biggest problems, is their carburetor is becoming gummed up. So the other thing I'd like to mention about one of these standard fuel containers here is I always store it with the spout out. It is possible to flip this inside and store it inside the tank with the cap and the seal there. But what I've found, that in the hot summer months, the pressure inside this tank warms up. As it warms up outside, the tank begins to bulge, and the fuel can actually travel up this spout here. If it's located inside the fuel, it'll cause it to leak on the outside. So I always put this, store it like this, and I'll just show you. I have here, removing the cap, you see there's my seal there, and then this out like this. That way it prevents it from happening. The alternative way would be, of course, what I do not recommend is you store it like this, like that, with the cap, and this one's tightened here. That's a scenario where that once this is tightened and sealed, a good tight seal, that valve is closed there. If the tank pressurizes because of a warm day, the water can, or the fuel can flow up your spout and start to spill out here. That happened to me once. Ever since, I've made sure I always start with the spout on the outside of the tank. So now it's time to fuel up the lawnmower. I never fill it all the way because that just increases the the chance for spilling. So one thing this lawnmower has is a choke lever here, which we have to pull over before we start the engine, and that will stay there until I engage this run safety switch here, the safety bar, and pull the start. The engine starts, and then gradually this dial will work its way over to the normal close position. So let's try this while I'm holding my phone with one hand, see if I can get it to go. You can see that that choke lever did move all the way back. Sometimes I have to pull that choke twice until the engine heats up enough and stays in a stable operating condition. A thought on the used oil, which came out of the lawnmower and other equipment I have, like my snowblower, is I pour the used oil, and I have it tagged here in this container, used oil, into an old oil container, and I can return it to any shop, any auto shop, when I'm getting my oil changed on my car, and they will take this and dump it into their oil recycling facility. That way I'm not just throwing the old used oil in a garbage can and it gets into the environment. I'd like to try and keep it so that it's as environmentally friendly as possible. Some final thoughts about my Honda gasoline-powered 4-stroke lawnmower. It has the guts, it has the horsepower to get the job done. It's not going to die halfway through on a dead battery. It's going to last and cut through everything, even the heavy stuff. It'll never die, it'll never crap out on me. So I've had it for 20 years now. It's a great lawnmower, and I'm planning on keeping it, so it's worth putting a little money and a little time and effort into maintaining it. Anyways, that's it for now, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.